What is up, my brothers and sisters, my agents of respect? It's your boy Trey Johnson back with another episode of the No Disrespect But podcast. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Always feel free to comment. Just keep them comments respectful. And if you're interested in supporting your favorite podcaster, there's a way to do so. It will be in the episode's description. Appreciate everybody that supports and loves the show. Keep the love pouring in. Now, today's episode, man, I just wanted to have a little fun. Initially, I was going to kind of talk about, the New Orleans sports teams and how I think they're kind of, you know, messing with their fan base a little bit and get a little disrespectful. But it's like, what was the fun in that? I always complain about teams that really, at this point in time, feel like they're not going anywhere, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about them, especially with when it comes to basketball and the season just getting NBA season just getting started. But to give you a little bit background of what today's episode is going to be about. So I don't know if it was yesterday or maybe a couple of days ago. Rashard Mendenhall played in the NFL, most known for his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He goes on this rant because I guess he got tired of certain white players talking about black players who he felt were better than the white players, in the media talking. And so he goes on his rant saying, "Oh man, I'm tired of these mediocre white players speaking. Like we need to, start an all black NFL team, basically saying they'll dust an all white NFL team." So obviously very discriminatory, but it is what it is. And while he was very serious in this, highly upset, I don't think he understood how Twitter works. Nobody takes anything seriously on that app. And in this case, no one took it seriously. Everyone immediately started going to their draft boards, trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Most hilarious thing about this was that the black delegation realized that they didn't have too many specialists on their team, and the white delegation realized they didn't have any cornerbacks really on their team. So that was just hilarious to see that kind of banter going. And we're talking about trades, and obviously it's all about the black and the white players. So Asian players, Pacific Islanders, Samoan players, they're getting excluded. The Hispanic players are getting excluded to a degree. I mean, unless you're going to put them in the white or black category. But it was just funny, kind of like, trying to see, okay, can we get this other minority on our team to help fill that deficit? So it's been a lot of fun on the Twitter timeline, kind of going back and forth with that. And so I wanted to do one for both teams. And look, for y'all start saying, hey, look at him. He can't do the white team. Look, I'm like 1/10 white somewhere. Look, one of the great, well, a few, pretty much everybody in the great grands were white. So leave me be. I'm going to pick for that ounce of my bloodstream as well. Don't get worried. I think I put a good squad for both teams that if you were an occasional NFL fan, not really thinking about what we're talking about, just watching the game, I think if you saw these two respective teams lined up, you would enjoy the game. I think it would be a good game. I won't say who's going to win, but I just think it would be a good game. So I'm going to start kind of with defense, and then I'm going to go to special teams and then offense for each team. And so starting with Team W, that's what I'm gonna call it, so I don't get muted on YouTube. Team W, if you can know how to spell, you can do the math. Starting with defense. So the way I did it was I gave each team 2 edge rushers, 2 interior defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 2 outside cornerbacks, 2 safeties, and a slot corner. So starting with the edge for Team W, I got TJ Watt, plays for the Steelers, one of the best edge rushers in the game, is a contender for Defensive Player of the Year every single season, especially even in some years where he's been hurt. He's kind of come back late. He's made a push for that award. So gonna put TJ Watt there. Then we got Max Crosby. Hey, y'all, Team B, don't start. Don't start. The man on his standardized testing, I don't care if he listened to hip hop and he got a little swag to him. On his standardized testing, on his birth certificate, on his driver's license, it says Caucasian on there. So he's going to be on this team. I ain't got time for all that. Look, you got a problem with the rules? First of all, we don't know the rules. Take that up with Rashard Mendenhall. But I'm just taking for what he said on service level. So yes, Max Crosby stays on Team W. Deal with it. Interior defensive lineman. This is really hard for me. I ended up picking Brian Brzee, who plays with New Orleans Saints, a rookie, having a stellar rookie season at that position. But what was hard was I couldn't think of another interior defensive lineman for Team W, so I just went ahead and put Aiden Hutchinson on there because I mean they probably can, mix. They might put T.J. Watt inside, put Max Crosby inside, whatever. That's for them and their coaches to decide. Also, I didn't pick coaches for this game. I just let that be what it is. Um, but I put Hutchinson in to round up that last defensive lineman spot. Now going to the linebackers, got Matt Milano, who's a stud linebacker for the Buffalo Bills, has been a consistent tackler and a guy who's always at the top of the league leaders in tackling, especially tackles for loss and sacks, and just a big leader for that defense when he's healthy. Then I got Logan Wilson for the Cincinnati Bengals. If you happen to watch them, especially if you watched them in some of their playoff runs in recent years, he's the guy that's flying off the screen, making plays, making it difficult for the opposing quarterback and other players on the offense. And then I got my boy Thor, Alex Anzalone from Detroit, used to be a former Saint, product of the University of Florida. He, had an up and down career in New Orleans, but kind of got to Detroit and found, a new a new voice, a new swag, and he's been one of the better players. Actually re-signed this past offseason with Detroit. So wanted to give him some love. Thought he could make that spot on this team. So put him there. Um, Cornerback. Now look, at the beginning of the show, I told y'all there was a deficit at the cornerback position. There is currently one white cornerback on an NFL roster, and that happens to be Riley Moss out of the University of Iowa, who plays for the Denver Broncos right now. And so to find another cornerback, I actually went to the free agent pool. Troy Apke, who in 2020 ended up being the only white cornerback in the NFL at that time, came in as a safety before a game. I think he had to switch to the cornerback position, which then, by default made him the only white cornerback at that position. So he's a free agent right now, only 28 years old. Much like in 2020 when he was called upon and needed to be in the game, I think if he's called upon now, he will enter that game. Safeties, I think, look, they got some studs. Harrison Smith obviously is the leader in that group from the Minnesota Vikings. Wasn't going to leave him out. No, he's aging and everything, but he's still that guy when he has to be. And then running out the safety position, I put Reed Blankenship. And honestly, I couldn't find another person to put in the slot for them. So look, Reed, you probably gonna have to come down and play slot. Troy, you probably gonna have to play some, I'll just mention his name now, Taysom Hill, who's gonna be on the offense, just give you a hint there. He may have to come down. So look, there's not too many options, but guess what? That's just what it's gonna be. So you got some folks that have to come down. So switching over to team B, on the defensive side of the ball, starting with edge again. I got Myles Garrett, obviously defensive stud for the Cleveland Browns, someone who not only might possibly win Defensive Player of the Year, but if the Browns are to make the playoffs, and I think this is the best year of any year to give it to a non-quarterback, Myles Garrett has a play and has a reason to say, hey, I should be the most valuable player for my team because defensive guy made the plays. Our defense has led our team, especially with the quarterback troubles. They started 4 quarterbacks this season with Deshaun Watson getting hurt. Obviously had the rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They're now with Joe Flacco. So he has an argument to be not only Defensive Player of the Year, but MVP of the league. And then another edge rusher who's always going to be in that Defensive Player of the Year conversation is Micah Parsons, one of the best best young edge rushers in the game out of Penn State. Plays for the Dallas Cowboys. Love his game. So those are my 2 edge rushers. Then on the inside, I got Aaron Donald and Chris Jones, who I think are the 2 best at their position anyway. So why would I dare leave them off of this roster? Now going into the linebackers, Fred Warner, best at his position. Demario Davis, New Orleans Saint. one of the best at his position, even at his age. So I'm going to keep him on there. And I want to, before I go into my next linebacker, I want to make a change from Alex Anzalone for Team W. I want to put Pete Werner there. Sorry, Playboy Pete, for forgetting you. But another Saint player out of the Ohio State University, the heir apparent to our linebacker core, the future leader of that unit. I got to put him back on Team W. Okay, now I'm back. So finishing up with DeMario Davis, my last linebacker for Team B is going to be Roquan Smith, playing for the Baltimore Ravens, probably one of the best linebackers in the league, probably the best linebacker in the league. Always a given that he's going to have 100+ tackles and be one of the leaders in tackles in the NFL. Started his career with the Chicago Bears. Things didn't pan out. Got traded to the Baltimore Ravens. He's just been a godsend. So that's going to round up my linebacker core, right? Now looking at my DBs, look, I had a wealth of DBs on this one. Sorry, Team W. You just if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. That's y'all gotta, start getting these young men together now because y'all needed some help on that end. But with the DBs and the cornerback position, I'm starting with Marshawn Lattimore, the Ward. Y'all know I wasn't going to leave him out there off of this list. He, in my opinion, when healthy, he is the best cornerback in the league. They don't even throw his way. It's crazy. It's Jersey's usually always clean unless he's going for a tackle. So Marshawn Lattimore is going to be my cornerback. I'm also going to put the young bull Sauce Gardner on here. Put the young bull Sauce Gardner on here. I think people have maybe put too much stock in him, already putting him in, top 5 talks. And granted, I could have put Pat Surtain the second in this. I could have put a Jalen Ramsey as Xavier Howard, Stephon Gilmore, whoever. I mean, it's deep. So you can go wherever you want with this cornerback position. I really don't think there's too many wrong answers. I mean, there are some, but like when you're thinking about who the top 10 to 15 cornerbacks in the NFL are, I don't really think you can go wrong depending on what you want on your team. But I wanted Marshawn Lattimore and Sauce Gardner. I'm not leaving any doubt. I want 2 shutdown island type corners on the outside. And then going to my safeties, Minka Fitzpatrick, Roll Tide baby, currently plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just a ball hawk, knows how to get to the ball. That's going to be my guy. I need a ball hawk back there. And then round out my safety group is going to be Antoine Winfield Jr. Was a big fan of his dad when I was younger. Big fan of Antoine Winfield Jr., even though he plays for the Saints rival, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the guy, again, much like Minka, can find the ball, a bit more of a thumper as well. So you're always going to need some level of physicality on your defense. So I'm bringing Antoine Winfield Jr. to the fold. And then in my slot, again, I could have been anybody, but I ended up going Kenny Moore, the second, who plays for the Colts. I could have went anywhere with this. There's a lot of guys around the league that play well in that position. So those are my defenses for both teams, right? Kind of want to go specialist. So sticking with Team B, it was hard. It's where we had a deficit, right? There. So for kicker, I'm gonna go Justin Houston. And for those of you who don't know, Justin Houston is a safety, and I believe he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. But he can play kicker. There's been times where he's had to fill in for Harrison Butker, sorry, and step in as kicker. He's done that, done extra points, done some actual kicks, and he's done some in the preseason as well. So I'm going to go Justin Houston on this one. But if I have to, I will get Chad Ochocinco out of retirement so he can be my kicker because he can place kick as well. Or I can go for a guy like Marquette King, who's over in XFL, longtime punter for the Las Vegas and before Oakland Raiders. So could always go get him out of retirement. And then punter, uh, Presley Harvin III, guy out of Georgia Tech, plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers now. I'm just going to go with him on this one because he is the punter. He is a punter in the league. So I'm just going to go with him. He deserves a spot. And on the other side, on Team W, what I got for there's really no deficit here for us, right? You can take your pick, much like the DBs on Team B. You can take your pick with specialists on Team W, right? And so for the kicker position, I went with the best kicker in the league, being Justin Tucker. And for punter, I went with my OG former New Orleans Saint, now with the New York Jets, Thomas Morstead. So that's kind of our defense and our specialists for both teams. Now I'm gonna go team W for offense. Again, much like Max Crosby, Joe Burrow is going to be the quarterback. I don't care what y'all say. No, stop it, stop it. Y'all can't keep on adopting everybody. What's on that man's birth certificate? What does that man put on his standardized testing? What does he put on his census? Exactly. Joe Burrow is a starting quarterback for Team W, and I think he would probably give them the best chance to win. Obviously, out of all of the other quarterbacks that could have qualified for Team W, that's who I went with. So, um, running backs, Christian McCaffrey, no brainer. And I put Taysom Hill there. I mean, I'm not leaving him off of this team. I already told you he could play slot, he could play safety, he could be quarterback, he could be tight end, he could be left guard, right guard, whatever you want him to be, right? I don't care. He's a ball player. I'm having Taysom Hill on this team. Team W is not going to war against Team B without Taysom Hill being part of the team in some capacity. He's just a utility guy. He could do it all. Wide receiver, this was relatively easy. Cooper Cup, 7-11. You're not filling the team and putting wide receivers on there, and Cooper, 7-11 Cup, ain't on there. One of the best receivers in the league. Offensive player of the year before, just steady. Then I got Adam Thielen, a guy who's aging, but look, I ain't got that much options. I mean, even at his age, he's better than some of the other qualified candidates for Team W, right, at the wide receiver position. So I'm gonna go with Adam Thielen here, and then Hunter Renfrow, kind of having a down year, not really being utilized, but we know what he can do in this league as a slot guy. I gotta have him on Team W. Then the tight end position. Oh my God, like you can go anywhere, but I'm gonna go with the guy who's the best at the position right now, and arguably the best at the position all time. That's gonna be Travis Kelce, right? That's who I'm going with. And then kind of get into my trenches. Um, Left tackle, I'm gonna go with Jake Matthews out of Atlanta. Left guard, I'm gonna go with Zach Martin out of Dallas. Zach's one of the best in the game, so I'm gonna go with him there. At the center position, going with Jason Kelsey for the defending NFC champions, Philadelphia Eagles. I just got to go there. Joe Batonio plays for Cleveland. Going to go with him at the right guard position, and rounding out right tackle, going to another Eagle, Lane Johnson, who, again, he's aging. He's an older guy, but in terms of qualifying for Team W, he is the best at his position, in my opinion. And if I was drafted for Team W, I would want him on my team. Like I have to have him on my team. So that's where I'm going. Now, last but not least, we got Team B in their offense. Now, look, quarterback, I got Pat Mahomes. And I know you're gonna say, hey, he could easily be on Team W if we go on that way, if we go on that route, right, Trey? Yes, you are absolutely correct. But this is what I will ask you: have you seen his pup? Have you seen his Paul? Have you seen Patrick Mahomes Sr.? That's who has raised this. That's who has raised Patrick Mahomes the second. So with that in mind, Patrick Mahomes will be the quarterback on my team B. Okay. Now look, you can go Lamar Jackson, you can go Jalen Hurts, you can go to Deshaun Watson if you really want to go that route. You can go to Bryce Young. You can go to Kyler Murray's, even though he's kind of in the same ballpark as Pat Mahomes, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, that's who I decided to go with. I kind of wanted to go Lamar, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with Pat Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the league, and if I can get him, if I don't get him, if Team B doesn't get him, guess what? Team W gonna get him. They have every right to get him because he's the best quarterback in the league, right? So look, I'm having him on Team B, but guess what? Don't be mad at somebody who's also picked for TW. Say Team W says, "Hey, I want him on my team," because guess what? They have every right to have him on Team W as well. Running backs, Alvin Kamara. That's really no brainer. I always want a receiving back on and a guy who can do multiple things. And I'm gonna go Derrick Henry. Again, you can go, in which way you want to, but Derrick Henry to me, I know he's aging right now, not the best guy, but look, Bama loyalty, roll tide. I'm gonna go with him. Now my top three receivers on my roster that I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Jamar Chase, um, out of Cincinnati, just a stud. Guy makes things happen. I got to go with him on that. I was torn between him and Justin Jefferson, but I'm gonna go Jamar Chase in this round. Devontae Adams, arguably, in my opinion, the best route runner in the NFL. I gotta have that. I already got Jamar Chase kind of with that big body that can get those contested catches both over the field and down the field. Now I got a guy in Devontae Adams that's gonna route you up, that's gonna hit you with some quick hitters on the slants. And then I got Tyreek Hill. I gotta have the most dangerous player, the most dangerous weapon in the NFL. I got Pat Mahomes at quarterback, man. We gotta reunite them. We gotta have them killing people, deep, short, intermediate, however you want it. We gonna give it to you. That's what I got. And then at tight end, I'm gonna go Kyle Pitts. Look, I know Kyle Pitts gets a tough rep, but look who his quarterbacks are. I think if he was with a guy like a Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, whatever it might be, he would be balling. That's how athletically gifted this young man is. He's going to be on Team B representing the tight end room. There's some guys, it was a little bit hard. Team W definitely has the advantage in this area. Ali Cox might be a good person. Jawan Johnson, maybe if you want to go there. Jimmy Graham, maybe if you want to go there, even though he's a little bit older. But I just had to stick with Kyle Pitts. I think he's just the best or the most gifted of the bunch that could have qualified for Team B at that position. Guys go to the trenches. This was easy for me. Like I didn't even really have to look up people. I kind of knew who. Like when it came to the trenches for both Team B and Team W, I think I knew who I wanted on the trenches or in the trenches. Left tackle, give me Trent Williams out of the 49ers. I mean, 35 years old, but I don't care. He a dog. I know the quarterback ain't going to get touched. I know if we running on that side, we get yards, positive yards. Give me Trent Williams in that capacity. Left guard, give me Elston. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Please get your people to correct me if I got it wrong. But Jenkins, guard for the Green Bay Packers. Look, I know they're not the best team this year, or as well as they've been in years past, but he's a promising young guard. I want him on my team, helping protect my quarterback, helping establish the run game, which is what Green Bay loves to do, to establish that ground and pound game and, kind of get that quarterback out on the edge, get some deep shots, that type of thing. So that's going to be my left guard. Center, going with Eric McCoy, who I think if he wasn't babysitting two of the worst guard positions on either side of him, I think he would be regarded as maybe the best center by everybody. But for me, I truly think he's the best center in the NFL. Eric McCoy for the New Orleans Saints, he's going to be on Team B at the center position, making sure we get some calls, making sure he keeps Patrick clean, getting those blitz calls and all that type of stuff right. Right guard, I'm going Shaq Mason, formerly of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was part of their Super Bowl team. Also played for the New England Patriots, and now plays for the Houston Texans. So a guy that kept Brady clean and is now keeping C.J. Stroud relatively clean. He's going to keep Pat Mahomes clean as well. So I'm going Shaq Mason. Then right tackle. I'm speaking of Mahomes. I'm going with his right tackle currently, Jawan Taylor, who's the right tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Also played for the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. And if I'm not mistaken, a University of Florida product. So I know Gators can produce offensive linemen. Shout out to the Pouncey twins. So that's rounding out the trenches for Team B. I think it's a good roster. And so, man, when y'all look at this episode, please feel free to comment what you think about my roster. What would you make on your roster? What do your roster look like? I'm really interested to see what everybody's doing. Team B, Team W. Man, this is fun. Hey, Team A, because hey, guess what? Pacific Islands, that kind of is the Asian demographic to a degree. So guess what, man? Join hands. Hell, y'all might take this thing. Because Rashard Mendenhall decided to leave y'all out, right? So y'all come together, start a super team. I think there are a lot of Pacific Islander players I would love. Tua gonna be on it for sure, right? As the starting quarterback, maybe. So, there's a lot of guys that I would love to see. So, if you're part of that demographic and obviously got left out, field the team. I want to see, man. I'm interested because I might try to steal some, see if we can do a trade or whatever. So, really looking forward to what everybody else's team is doing. Keep in mind, man, this is all in good fun. I know Richard Mendenhall was all super serious and stuff, but nobody cares about that. It ain't that serious, bro. We didn't need all that energy, but it has turned to something, positive, something we can make light of. You got, black people, white people coming together. Like I said, you got some of the other races kind of getting into action too, which is fun and saying like, hey, yo, like you gotta get our people in this thing too. So uh really, really enjoying it. And so have fun with it. If you're on Twitter or social media, my wife was telling me some people on TikTok are making videos too. Man, have some fun with it. It's too much seriousness and just bad energy in this world. So when you have a chance to be able to make fun and make light of something and just have a good time with people you know, people you don't know, when you're just kind of bonding over just having a fun moment. Um, take that opportunity. That's what the world needs. So really enjoy it. But anyways, look, fun episode. I enjoyed it. I thought long and hard about both squads. I think both squads, could win a Super Bowl. I really feel comfortable about that. But man, really enjoyed talking about this and make sure y'all let me know what you think. But if there was anything I said or anything on my team, you know, that offended you, look, it's a good thing. It's an opportunity for me to learn. It's an opportunity for you to teach me. All I ask is that you keep it respectful. Peace.